What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the PFL Week Number 2 4-card breakdown, sponsored by High Tide Herbal. I am your host, Cage. If you don't know who our sponsor, High Tide Herbal, is, check out this video right now.
Offering high-quality, sustainable products with all-natural, lab-tested ingredients, it's High Tide Herbal's mission to help others live the longest, healthiest, and most productive lives possible. Their hemp-derived CBD products have a wide variety of uses, from helping sore muscles to skin hydration and minimizing skin irritation. They generate results based on your specific needs. Elevate your lifestyle with the new wave of wellness. Visit hightideherbal.com to learn more.
That is a sponsor, High Tide Herbal. All you gotta do is go to www.hightideherbal.com, put in the promo code CageMyIQ10 at checkout to receive 10% off your next purchase. As always, we are Cage by IQ, the best place for MMA content. You can follow us on Instagram, Twitter, uh, Twitch, and YouTube. As you see right there, all you gotta do is go to one of those platforms, type in Cage My IQ, and everything will pop up on each social media platform. All we ask for you guys to do is to subscribe to each one, and then of course on YouTube, subscribe to the Cage My IQ the YouTube channel. Hit subscribe, hit the notification bell, so whenever we put any of the content out, you guys are the first to get it. And then please smash the like button on this video down below and hit us up in the comment section to the right and let us know what you think of the breakdown that I'm doing for you guys today. Of course, I'm doing the 4-card breakdown for PFL Week 2. This is headlined by a heavyweight matchup between Bruno Cappelozza going up against Stewart Austin. This is week number 2. We had a great week last week. Of course, Clay Cotter defeated Jeremy Stevens by unanimous decision, and then Roush Manfio picked up a knockout victory over Don Madge. So that was a couple of the last week's victories on week 1 in the debut of the 2022 season of PFL. But let's get started with the 10 fight PFL week 2 lineup here. We got heavyweight and featherweight matchups on this card. But the first one on here is a featherweight matchup between Alejandro Flores going up against Saba Bloggie. As you see right there, you get El Galito. He's coming in 20-3, 4-1 in his last 5 fights. He is coming in as the minus 155 favorite, whereas the underdog Saba Bloggie is coming in at 14-2 and 1, 4-1 in his last 5 fights. He is the plus 125 slight underdog. They train out of VFS Academy and MMA Spirit over in Germany. The fans right here are going with 68% are going with Flores, where 32% are riding with the underdog Bloggie. This is a very interesting matchup here. Of course, you got Saba Bloggie, who's coming in with that very big wrestling background. He has good transitions. He has good movement. His property in this matchup is to go in for the takedowns, get the fight to the ground, and look for those submissions and ground and pound entries. And he's won a lot of his fights by decision, and then his only 2 losses, he's lost by split decision and decision. So he's looking to get the fight to the ground into his style, because when he can't, that's when his opponents out volume him and pick up the decision victory. Whereas on Flores' side, he has that Taekwondo, kickboxing, and BJJ background. He's going to look to keep the distance, throw those leg kicks, throw those knees to a Saba, throw those hook shots. He loves throwing the hooks and the jab, and keeping the space. That's going to be the big thing with Flores, because he's going to want to just piece up Bloggie and then look for those entry rates to try and get those finishes or subs to get those extra points. on the board in this matchup. But I'm gonna go with the underdog here. I'm gonna go with Saba Bloggie by a decision here. I feel like his wrestling is gonna play a big factor in this fight. He's gonna be coming in the smaller guy by 3 inches. He does have a better reach, and he weighs a little bit more. I just like how he's going to be able to throw his weight around. He's going to be able to get the fight to the ground. He's going to look for those ground and pound finishes. I don't think he gets it, but I do think he wins the fight via unanimous decision. I think he gets the 3 points here, and he pulls off the upset in this matchup. So I'm going in opening contest. I'm going with the underdog Saba Bloggie. Moving on to the next fight on the card, we got Shayman Moraes going up against Boston Salmon in this featherweight matchup. Moraes is coming in 13-5, 2-3 in his last 5 fights. He's coming in the minus 200 favorite, whereas Boston Boom Boom's Salmon is coming in at 8-3, 3-2 in his last 5 fights. He is coming in the plus 160 slight underdog. They train out of Team Noguera and Black House MMA, and then Extreme Couture Gym. The fans are leaning towards 88% Moraes, whereas 12% are leaning towards Boston Salmon. Both of these guys have been chinny in the past 5-6 fights. That's why it's going to make this fight really good here. They both like to strike. They both like to bang. I think Shayman Moraes has a little bit more better background with the fact that he not only can strike, but he has the BJJ and the grappling, whereas Boston Salmon's more of a like a striker, likes to move in movement and likes to go in for the kill. But I'm gonna go the favorite here. I'm gonna go Shayman Moraes here. I think he's gonna get it by a second round knockout. The fact that both of these guys are chinny means I think this is going to be uh, finished inside the distance. I don't think that there's any chance that it goes to the judges' scorecard. And I'm leaning towards of course, the more experienced side, which is Moraes. He knows the PFL scoring and the background, and he's coming in with those 2 straight victories, which I think is going to play a huge factor with this one. So I'm going Moraes winning by a second round knockout, catching Boston Salmon in the second round with a nice overhand knockout shot. Moving on to the third fight on this card, we got a heavyweight matchup between Klidson Abreu going up against Adan Koresh. In this matchup, White Bear Abreu comes in at 15-5. He is he's 1-3 in his last 5 fights. He is the minus 150 slight favorite, whereas Adam Koresh is coming in at 5-0, 5-0 in his last 5 fights. He is the plus 120 near underdog here. They fight American Top Team Gym and Team Burt Gym. The fans are going towards 80% Adam Koresh, whereas 20% are leaning towards Klidson Abreu. I saw the lineup right there, and seeing that Abreu's the favorite, it kind of confused me a little bit because watching the tape here, I just feel like I'm going to go with Adam Koresh by first round knockout here. I really like how his movement, he has that very good unorthodox style. The way he throws his leg kicks, the way he throws his strikes, it's just not normal like a lot of guys do it. So he can catch his opponents off guard with how he does his movement, and he has that knockout power. So there, all of his fights end in a finish. 4 of his fights have been knockouts in the first round. 1 was in the second round. So a lot of what he does is in the first round, and it's not like he's rushing. He's very patient. He lets things come to him, and he has great IQ. Whereas Klidson Abreu, he's a good striker. He's a good grappler with a very good BJJ background. That's what got him into the UFC. That's what got him into PFL now. But he's been chinny. He's been finished. I think he's on the way down. And I guess a guy with the power like Adan Koresh, I feel like Adan Koresh is going to catch him in the first round, or a really big overhand shot that's just going to put him down. And Adam Koresh is going to get those big 6 points for the first round finish. This is a guy that's going to be a sleeper, I feel like, in the PFL. And he couldn't make the playoffs because of his background. I just feel like that knockout power, that unorthodox movement, it's going to be a big player in the PFL in this season for 2022. So once again, I got a dime crash first round knockout. And with those underdog odds, you can't beat that there. So that's going to be one of my bet plays this week on Thursday. Moving forward to the next fight on the card, we got Denise Goltsov going up against Samkai in the heavyweight division. We got veteran Denise Goltsov, who's no slouch to the PFL and making the playoffs last year, aka the Russian Bogatar. He's coming in at 27-7, 3-2 in his last 5 fights. He is the minus 500 heavy favorite, whereas Sam K9 Kai is coming in 8-5, 4-1 in his last 5 fights. He is the plus 375 moderate underdog. As you see right there, they train out Sambo, Peitzer Gym, and Ermac Gym. And then on the other side, you got Spike 22 Gym. Then you got the fans. 95% are leaning towards Goltsov, whereas only 5% are leaning towards Kai. I think a big thing to look at in this matchup before I go into it is the fact that Goltsov is coming in weighing 50 pounds heavier. He has a 2-inch height advantage, and he has almost a 4-inch reach advantage in this matchup, and that's going to play a heavy play in this matchup here. Both of these guys have grappling backgrounds. Sam Kai and likes to wrestle, has good BJJ, and he has knockout power. But then you got Denise Goltsov, who has the sambo background. He likes to push you backwards. He has good leg kicks, good overhand punches. But he's all about the sambo, get the fight to the ground, and look to ground and pound you or submit you. And I think the 50-pound weight difference is going to play a huge difference in this fight. I think it pushes Sam Kai back. It gets him to the ground. And I think he gets that second round finish via submission here. As you look right there, he has ground and pound, and majority decision. And then his 2 losses are right hook and unanimous. So he hasn't had too many submissions victories of late. But when you weigh 50 pounds heavier than your opponent and you can get him down very easily, it could look to finish him via ground and pound, which I wouldn't be surprised if he gets. But I have a feeling he's going to get the submission here via arm triangle. I think it's perfect time to showcase that here. You get that, and then it makes you look better. It makes your opponents later on second guess the type of guy you are. Even though he's so well known, I think that's something that he should look to do with the weight difference that he has. So I'm going with the more posh guy here, Denise Goltsov by second round submission via arm triangle. Moving on to the next fight on this card, we got a featherweight matchup between a newcomer Kyle Bocek, who is coming from the UFC, going up against Bubba Jenkins here, the guy who made the semifinals of PFL last year. You got Bocek, aka Crash. He's coming in at 11-5. He's 3-2 in his last 5 fights. He's the plus 205 underdog, whereas Bad Man Bubba Jenkins is coming in at 16-5, 4-1 in his last 5 fights. He's the minus 265 favorite. They train at Broadway Jiu Jitsu, Loughnane MMA, and Skill of Strength Gym, whereas Jenkins is training out Black House MMA. The fans are leaning towards 92% are going towards Jenkins, whereas only 8% are going towards Kyle Bochniak. This is a fight where you got Kyle Bochniak, who has a grappling background, but he's a guy that likes to stand up and go to war with his opponents. He averages 1 to 2 takedowns a fight, even though he likes to stand up and go to war. He's very low volume in a lot of his fights, which is part of the reason why he usually goes to decision and wins by his grappling, or he loses by decision due to his volume in fights. And he's going up against a guy in Bubba Jenkins, who's a world-class wrestler. Last year showcased it with the wins over Lance Palmer. He came in into the semifinals and just met a guy who was even better in Chris Wade, who was able to wrestle and ground and pound you and get him with the movement with those leg kicks, and just was able to just overwhelm Bubba Jenkins. But in this one, I think Bubba Jenkins gets back into form. He's had a year to get better. I feel like he's going to want to showcase not only his wrestling but his movement. And in this fight against Bochniak, I think he's going to take him down. I think he's going to get Bochniak down 2, 3, maybe 4 times. Bochniak has been prone to the takedowns in his last 5 fights. And I could see Bubba Jenkins winning by unanimous decision victory here. I think it's hard for him to get finishes. You saw that last year, and we'll even go back to it right here. Unanimous decision, and then even before that, you had the ground and pound, but you have decision. So it's been a struggle for him to get those finishes. And in the PFL, like a year, you need those extra points to ensure that you make the playoffs. So I think he's going to look for those ground and pound finishes, but I think at the end of the day, he's going to get the unanimous decision victory due to his wrestling background, where he's just going to take down Bochniak 2, 3, 4 times and then get a lot of control time and ground and pound on him. So I'm going with the favorite, Bubba Jenkins, by decision. Moving on to the next fight on the card, we got a featherweight matchup, which I'm looking forward to, between Lance Palmer going up against Chris Wade. We got a former champion, Lance the Party Palmer. He's coming in at 22-5, 3-2 in his last 5 fights. He is the plus 105 underdog, whereas Chris, the Long Island Killer Wade, is coming in at 20-7, 3-2 in his last 5 fights. He is the minus 135 slight favorite. They train out Team Alpha Male and Long Island MMA. The fans are going 65% towards Wade and 35% are going towards Palmer. These are got 2 high-level grapplers who are coming in this matchup. You look at Wade, he lost to Luke by decision in a couple years ago. Then he beat Anthony Dizzy by decision. He beat Armand Aspinall by KO. Bubba Jenkins by decision, and then he lost to Bob Lib by decision in a fight that he just kept on getting taken down, but he kept on coming, but just didn't have enough. Whereas Lance Palmer beat Alejandro de Almeida by decision, Alex Gilpin by decision again. He lost to Bubba Jenkins by decision, and Mobley by decision. I think the big difference in this matchup is going to be Chris Wade's stand-up game here. They both have big-time wrestling backgrounds. I think Lance relies heavily on his wrestling. He likes to get forward. He throws those overhand strikes. He has a good hook. But it's all about him getting the takedown, pressure on his opponent against the cage, whereas Chris Wade has a really good jab. He has a really good leg kicks. He can fight in space that lies on reminiscent of like a kickboxing style, but it's more fitting to him. And he likes to get you down. He likes to slam you on the mat, get a couple of takedowns in his fights. That's exactly what he did with Bubba Jenkins before he ran into the Moblin buzzsaw. He was able to throw his leg kicks, slow down Bubba Jenkins. He's the one who took him down, did a lot of ground and pound, a lot of striking, the hook, the overhand shots on the feet, and that's what you're going to see here. And I'm going with Chris Wade uh, by second round knockout here. And I think this is going to be the beginning of the end for Palmer. I think he's starting to age a little bit, starting to show that you can't just win by grappling and holding guys down and going through the year winning by decision here. You got these guys that are grown, guys from bigger backgrounds, guys that can strike and grapple at the same time. And Chris Wade is one of those guys. He finally broke through, made it to the finals last year, and I think he's going to come in with the chip on his shoulder after losing in that fight, like he did against Movlid. But Movlid's not competing in this year's PFL due to injury, so I think Chris Wade's coming in, won the get this year's championship. And to do so, he's going to have to get back in the playoffs. And I think he does that with a great start by knocking out Lance Palmer in round 2. I think he gets him with a leg kick, stuns him, gets him to the ground, and finishes him with ground and pound. So I'm going with Chris Wade by round 2, ground and pound KO. Moving on to the main card here, we got a heavyweight matchup between Renan Ferreira going up against Jamel Jones. This is my my pick for fighting the night here. You got Renan Problema Ferreira, who's coming in at 8-2, 3-1-1 in his last 5 fights. He is the -400 heavy favorite, whereas Jamel the Beast Jones comes in at 12-7, 3-2 in his last 5 fights. They train out Team Noguera Gym and then Sikjitsu Gym. The fans are leaning towards 95% Ferreira, whereas 5% are leaning towards Jones. If you look right there, Renan Ferreira has the huge 8-inch height advantage and the huge, for the most part, 10-inch reach advantage there. And he's coming a few pounds heavier. I think that plays a huge factor in this matchup because these two guys like to stand up and bang. They like to knock you out. Jamel Jones comes in. He has a wrestling background. He comes in, looks for the takedown, or he likes using his overhand left shot that has knocked out a lot of people in fights. But he's also been prone to getting knocked out himself. Whereas Renan Ferreira, as he saw last year, he had the controversial matchup against, of course, Fabricio Verdum, where it looked like he tapped, but then the fight kept going, and then he knocked out Verdum, and it got turned into a no contest. We don't ever know what actually happened. We just know what we saw. But he has that knockout power, and it goes in towards in there, and then right after that, he got decision and a knockout against Stewart Austin, who's in the main event. So that's something to think about there. He would have had 2 knockouts last year, but he has that striking background where he uses his reach, and then he has the BJJ side of things where he can clinch up with you, knees, elbows. He can take you down more so the BJJ style, and he can submit you. But I think this is going to be one that goes crazy round 1. They are going to go bang in the first round. If this fight, there's no chance this fight goes the distance with how these guys throw at their opponents. But I think the big difference here is going to be the reach and the size of Renan Ferreira, because he's going to be able to hit for Jones before Jones can touch him, because Jones has to worry about getting inside of Ferreira, whereas Ferreira can use that size and kind of stand a little bit farther away to avoid Jones' shots. And I feel like he's going to connect with one of those shots, stun Jones, and then he's going to hit him again and put him down. So I'm going with Renan Ferreira round 1 knockout over Jamel Jones. And he's the heavy favorite because of his reach and because of his size. So once again, I'm going with the favorite, Renan Ferreira, by knockout round 1. Moving on to the next matchup on this card, we got another heavyweight matchup between Anti Dalia going up against Matthews Scheffler. In this matchup here, coming in, Dalia, aka Walking Trouble, is coming in 19-5, 3-2 in his last 5 fights. He is the minus 400 heavy favorite coming out of Croatia, whereas Matthews Scheffler, aka Buffa, is coming in at 15-7, 3-2 in his last 5 fights. He is the plus 300 modern underdog. They train out Gladiator Croatia Gym and then CM System Gym. The fans are leaning towards 96% all towards Dalia, whereas 4% are leaning towards Scheffel. These are two guys that like to stand up and strike. You got Scheffel, who likes to throw leg kicks. He likes to keep that kickboxing distance in between him and his opponent. His good combinations of the jab to the overhand shot. He likes to move around, likes to keep his opponent guessing with the, but he likes to lead with that jab a lot. Yeah, whenever he can, majority of the time, except for when he's going up against a southpaw and he's not able to do that, so he has to play more of a counter style, more of a passive style than being more on the attack. Whereas Dalia comes in, he likes to grapple with you, he likes to go after his opponents with submissions, or he likes to stand up and trade and knock him out. As you see, last year he made to the finals. His only 2 losses are by decision and knockout to Cappelozza, whereas he has the decision and knockout victories before that, and then he had knockout in KSW before that. But I see him going into this matchup, getting the fight into the clinch a lot. As you look down there, he's going to have a 40-pound weight advantage, 3-inch height, and then 4-inch reach advantage. So it's going to be something he's not accustomed to. You got a couple of these guys coming in that are just making the heavyweight mark, where they wouldn't be a light heavyweight, and Matthews Scheffel is one of those guys. So he's going to be able to push up against his opponent, push him against the cage, possibly take him down. And I see him just laying shots on the feet, moving Matthews backwards. I either see this ending in a round 1 knockout on the feet for Ante, or I see a round 2 ground and pound knockout for him. It all depends on what Ante Dalia does. If he wants to stand up and trade, or if he wants to use his wrestling to wear out Matthews Scheffel and then just finish him off with those elbows and ground and pound shots before the ref stops him. It all depends on how he feels like using that using those advantages with the weight and the reach. But I'm going to go with round 2 ground and pound KO here. I think that he's going to want to use the weight difference, like I said before, and he gets the victory. But I do think that he gets it inside the distance and he gets 5 points on his name going into the leaderboard after this matchup. So once again, Ante Dalia, round 2 ground and pound KO. Moving on to the next matchup, we got the co-main event evening. We got a featherweight matchup between Brendan Loughnane going up against Ryoji Kudo. Loughnane is coming in 21-4, 4-1 in his last 5 fights. He is the minus 500 heavy favorite, whereas Ryoji Kudo comes in at 10-2-1. He's 4-1 in his last 5 fights. He is the plus 375 heavy underdog. They train out of Manchester Predators Gym and then Tribe Tokyo MMA. We got 95% lean towards Brandon Loughnane, whereas only 5% are leaning towards Kudo. This is basically a boxing striker with a good kickboxing background, and Loughnane going up against a striker and wrestler and Kudo. And I think I'm going to lean towards Brendan Loughnane via round 3 decision victory here. At first, I was going to lean towards the knockout here, but with the fact that Ryoji Kudo has a grappling background, I feel like every time he's going to get stunned by the straight boxing shots of Loughnane, I feel like he's going to clinch up with him and avoid getting knocked out, and then he's going to take down Loughnane. I think this is going to be a pretty decent back and forth fight whenever he comes to it. I think Kudo's going to be able to land shots within the clinch, and then when they're separate, Loughthane's wicked calf kicks are going to come into play. He's going to look to slow down Kudo. He's going to want to get that jab and that cross going. I think he's going to also attack the body, Kudo with the body shots. I just don't think he's going to get the inside the distance knockout here, and I think he's going to do a lot of damage, but it's going to go to the decision. So within this matchup, I got Brendan Loughnane by decision victory over Ryoji Kudo. Moving on to the main event of the evening, we got a heavyweight bout between the 2021 champ Bruno Cappelozza going up against Stewart Austin. We got Bruno coming in 14-5, 4-1 in his last 5 fights. He's the minus 500 heavy favorite, whereas Stewart Austin comes in at 15-7, 3-2 in his last 5 fights. He is the plus 375 moderate underdog here. They train out of Corinthians MMA and Titan Fighter Gym. He got 97% lean towards Cappelozza, whereas Austin is only 3% with the crowd. A big thing to look at here is Cappelozza has the 2-inch reach. He is 1-inch spar and 10 pounds less than Austin. That, which is crazy to think with how good Bruno Cappelozza looked last year. Stewart has a little bit of grappling. He likes to stand up and trade with you, and he has a good BJJ background, whereas Bruno Cappelozza is a knockout striker. He throws a lot of combinations with very good speed. He uses his reach. He has those straight punches that connect on his opponents, and he can grapple up with you and take you down if he needs to. And he knows how to lock in submissions with that BJJ background that he has. This was a no-brainer to me. I'm going with Bruno Cappelozza by first-round knockout here, just with how he went through the field last year. He had 3 knockouts and 1 decision, with the decision being in the finals against Dalia, where he basically poured in a lot of volume round 1, almost got the knockout, and then just kept on pouring it on Dalia, and Dalia just survived that fight, and it was able to come back strong later in that fight. But Stewart Austin has been chinny in the past. I think Bruno's the faster guy with the better striking and the better movement. I think he gets it done early with a first-round knockout. It could be inside 60 seconds, but I think it's more so inside 2 minutes here. So within the main event, I got the defending champ Bruno Cappelozza knocking out Stewart Austin in round 1 and picking up the big 6 points in the 2022 season. Now wrap things up with today's PFL Week 2 4-card breakdown here. Once again, I will be back next week to preview PFL Week 3, do my 4-card breakdown. In that matchup, it's going to be both women's and men's on the card fighting. It's going to be headlined by Kayla Harrison and making her 2022 PFL debut. As always, before we get going, this is Cage My IQ. All I ask for you guys to do is go to our YouTube channel, www.youtube.com/c/CageMyIQ. Hit the subscribe button and notification bell if you haven't done so already. And please hit the like button down below and hit us up in the comment section to the right. Let me know what you think of this video, and let me know who you like Ben odds wise for PFL week 2. But other than that, I will see you guys next week. Go check out our sponsor, High Tide Herbal, and use the promo code CageMyIQ10 at checkout to receive 10% off your next purchase. But other than that, I will see you guys next week. And I would talk to you guys with another week of Cage My IQ. Thanks for tuning in.